You already heard about SEWA, and as you know, as we said, it's a trade union of women in the informal economy. The state where we did this particular experiment has 600,000 members and 1.9 million, 2 million this year now, across the country. I don't have it in the slide, but I'd also like to mention that aside from being a trade union, we also have sponsored many cooperatives. And I'm especially happy to be here in Canada because many years ago I came to Canada, and that was the first time I really learned about cooperatives. And since then in India and in SEWA, we have sponsored over 100 cooperatives of women, of which the biggest is our cooperative bank, where we do all kinds of financial services. As you saw, there are many schemes in India, but very few are actually reaching. And so we thought we'd do this experiment, and we do feel that unconditional cash transfers, the basic income, can be a very good alternative to what is happening now. And this is just a picture of one of our meetings. This is our research team. Guy mentioned 200 people, but this was the core research team, and I won't go into the names. As the guy mentioned in the film, the results of basic income, we saw that there were many results. It wasn't just one thing happening. And what we realized was that it could be transformational, transforming people's lives. And the elements of this transformation was improved welfare, health, education, and so on. Something that we had not anticipated, which was better productivity and growth and income effects. And then the whole issue of emancipation and being liberated. And what we did see, and I think what came across in the film, was that people are really, they feel different. So when they talk and when they feel it, there is something different that has happened. Now, how we've divided this talk is that I will be talking about the productivity income growth effects, and Guy will be talking about the other two. And I'll also say a little bit about women, because SEWA, being a women's organization, is especially concerned with the effect on women. And in India, and especially in the Indian villages, women are really kept very much backward, you can say, and kept in their homes. And even when they work, the money is often taken away by their families. So women's empowerment is extremely important to us. Okay. This I'm just going to run through. I mentioned that there are many schemes. We actually evaluated the schemes in the sense we asked people whether they were had got benefit of the schemes. And here I'm not going to go through the schemes, but just show you that there are many of them, and the uptake is quite poor. These are the schemes we asked about, but actually we found that in this particular village, or in these particular villages, there are 365 welfare schemes, of which the uptake, as you can see, is very low. This is something that I especially wanted to say, which was a guy described to you that there is, apart from our caste configuration in India and religious configurations, we also have a special group of people who are tribals, and they perhaps are the poorest. And as you can see, the nutrition before we started, now let's see, this doesn't work. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you can see before we started, 45% said that they had insufficient food, and by the end, it was only 13% who said that they had insufficient food. Now I get to the work effects. One of the things that is often said about basic income is that it will reduce employment and reduce people coming into the workforce. We didn't see that happen at all. This is an agricultural area, so mostly it's farm work. And we saw that the amount of farm work people did there was almost no change, and when there is a change, it's actually an increase, as you can see the green spot. Labor, that was farm work on their own farm. Mostly people either do wage labor, and the wage labor is not regular wage labor, but very casual wage labor. So one day you may get work, the next day you may not, and you're paid by the day. Again, wage work there was almost no change, and a little bit of increase and some decrease, but similar in both the control and the other village. We also did a multivariate analysis, and what we found was basic income actually raised the probability of shift from non-economic activities to economic activity. So actually it increases employment rather than decreases employment. I missed one. How do I go back? Okay. I missed one. What? We also saw, actually it was in the film, that there was increased income earning in the villages. And a lot of people said that the income earning was due to, and I've missed a very nice slide, I don't know where it went off. But what we saw in that very nice slide, which you're not seeing right now, is that in both the basic income villages, the income of people who were in the basic income villages had increased, and very little had decreased, whereas in the control villages there was a lot of decrease, because between the 2 years we had seen something of a drought. And this next slide is really what people said, that the increase was either fully or partly due to the basic income. There wasn't actually a lot of child labor in these villages, but what we did see was where there was child labor, there was a reduction, especially in wage labor. Again, this is casual wage labor, children going for casual wage labor. So there is a definite reduction in casual wage labor, and even more so where SEWA was active. There is no reduction in own account work, and this is mainly children working with their parents, either on artisan work or on their own farms. This was something that this was a really major change, which was one of the things that people did with the basic income was buy livestock. And this was especially true again in the poorer sections, and here I've shown the tribal village, but we saw the same results in the scheduled, in the lower caste villages. And what we saw was that there was a lot of buying of what we call small animals, that is chickens and goats, and also of bullocks and buffaloes. And this is something that we have seen now. The program has been over for more than a year, and we see that this has, in fact, these animals have in fact multiplied. So there's an upward spiral because of this. And this is Guy looking at one of the new bullocks. Sorry, Guy. We also found, in a small way, households were taking on new care responsibilities. And it's not very much, but at least where there was basic income, they were spending more time looking after the old people, or in some cases we saw women were working less in order to look after very small children. One question we asked right at the end was, who benefited more? Was it men or women? And all respondents seem to think that women benefited more. As you can see, it's 33%, 20%, and 15%. But the red one is where women benefited more. Oop, now what happened? That's not very good. Oh, this one got left out. But that was, a lot of people started new businesses. Almost 15% started new businesses in the basic income villages. Okay. This is one that I'd like to spend just a little bit of time on because we said women benefited more. And if you look at this, I'd like to explain it a little bit. The green one is, the light green one, is people who said that their main occupation was being a farmer. And the brown one is those who said that their main occupation was wage labor, which is casual wage labor. Now, this is in the tribal village. And in the tribal village, almost everybody has a very tiny piece of land. But what people did was they could not farm their land because inputs, seeds, fertilizers, irrigation, everything cost. And they would have to take loans at very high interest rates. And in the film it said 10%, but that was 10% per month. So they were taking loans at 10% per month. And so they did not farm their own land and they would go out for casual wage labor. And at the end of the experiment, you see that from 39% women who said that they were farmers, it went up to 65 points, around 66%, almost doubled. And the people who said that they were casual laborers had come down by half, more than half. So, and I'm especially showing this in the women's section, as it were, because the effects were much stronger for women than they were overall, or for men. Though overall also the effects were quite strong. So we see a moving away from wage labor, which is which is hard work, not well paid, outside the house, coming back and developing your own farm. And we see that as a very positive step. We also found that this is especially for women, that they have main and second main activities. And the second main activity is often done even if she doesn't have a main activity, so it's not a full-time one. And we found both the main activity and the second main activity, if you add them up, had increased. So the number of days of work actually increased because the second main activity increased. And this was, again, mainly for women. This is not a broad one, but I especially wanted to say this about women, or about an effect on women, which is on schooling, which Guy will talk about. The schooling of girls in middle school. If you look at the second cylinder, you see that the red 83.6% is the control village and 96.5% is the basic income village. So if you look at the first cylinder, the 6 to 10-year-olds, almost everybody is going to school. But it is from 11 to 13 and then from 14 to 18 where there is a big dropout rate. The 11 to 13, the boys do not drop out, but the girls do. And then from 14 to 18, almost a lot of people drop out. And as you see in the third cylinder, the enrollment for girls is almost double than what it is in the control village. So this was, when you look at education in India, if we don't look at primary education, is now almost universal. It's the later stages, that is after the age of 10, that people are no longer there. And this is my last slide. This is about earnings in the family. As I said, women do not often have to share the earnings, or they give the earnings to the main person in the family, and they don't get any, a share of it. And we saw in the basic income villages, the share is more equal than in the control villages. So within the family, they got more of a say. And the main reason really for that is that each person had an account. A woman had an account. And with an account, she had to prove, in order to open an account, she had to prove her identity. And in India, women don't have an identity. You know, you don't say, my name is Renana. You say, I am the mother of so-and-so and I am the wife of so-and-so. So when you open an account, you have to say, I am Renana and here's the proof that I am Renana. So opening the account, getting the money individually, really helped raise her identity and her own strength in the family. And I think that's all I'm going to say. And I hand it over to Guy.